So this little activity is a research assignment which might be done with a class at the start of a unit on energy transfer. And the purpose of this activity is twofold. First of all, to help the students begin learning a little bit about the topics of conduction, convection, and radiation, but also the activity is designed to help them begin developing some basic research skills. So rather than me, the teacher, simply giving them a set of notes or telling them what they need to know about these topics, we're going to ask them to do some initial research and find some material out for themselves. And I think this is a simple but quite nice example of how we can combine the teaching of research skills with the teaching of important content. The two can fit together quite nicely. And of course, a lesson like this could be done quite speedily. And that's a reminder as well that a project doesn't need to be several weeks long. It can simply be something that's done in the course of one or two lessons or even as a homework exercise. Now, if I was doing this with a class, say year 9 students, 13-year-olds, I would probably begin with a scaffolded worksheet like this, which I might have put on the Google Classroom, so that the activity is pretty straightforward and we can get quickly into it. This could be developed in various ways, not least of which, of course, is as it's a Google Doc, they could collaborate and two students could actually share the research assignment, and that might be appropriate if you're expecting them to build up a more extensive set of notes. Sometimes I've asked students to create notes for the entire unit of work this way, and the entire class can collaborate on a single Google Doc, which, if it's edited by the teacher, can form a very effective set of notes within the space of about 30 minutes. Okay, but what I want to show you today is how to use a really, really useful tool that's available on Google Docs, the Explore tool. So suppose that I'm going to begin with a little bit of work on the topic of conduction. Up here on the tools bar, you'll see that we have the Explore tool. And what's nice is the Explore tool is already quite cleverly been picking topics for me to begin looking at. Even before I've typed in a search term, we have some suggested topics here. So let's suppose we're going to start with thermal conduction. The tool has generated a whole list of sources that I can begin to look at to find out some helpful information on that topic. At this point, I would need to teach a little bit more, probably, to tell students about the techniques of quotation and paraphrase and the importance of citation of sources. But assuming you've done some of that teaching in the classroom and the students are ready to go, how might we get started? Well, I might choose to cite a definition of thermal conduction, which is given here on the Wikipedia page. Thermal conduction is the transfer of heat or internal energy by microscopic collisions of particles and the movement of electrons. So I'm going to borrow that definition for now and just put it in the start of my document over here. Thermal conduction can be defined as, and I'm more or less quoting this word for word, the transfer of heat by microscopic collisions of particles. Okay, and what I want to show you is that if I drag the cursor back over there, a quote button appears, and if I touch that quote button, you'll see that a citation has appeared in my document, and if I go to the bottom of my document, there's a full MLA citation with the date of access at the foot of my page. So in essence, it's very, very easy using this tool to both find source information and also to include citations to it. So this is a great tool for beginning to get the students on the pathway that leads to learning how to do their own research, and at the same time enabling you to cover core syllabus content.